What if I told you the emperors we read about in history books were never the ones truly in charge? What if the Holy Roman Empire itself was a facade, a glittering mask concealing the face of something far more secretive and terrifying? Imagine a world where every coronation, every treaty, every war was orchestrated not by emperors, but by a nameless force operating in the shadows. Welcome to the real story of the Holy Roman Empire and the power you were never meant to see. It's the year 1250. Emperor Frederick II is dead, and with him dies the illusion of imperial unity. But beneath the chaos, a coded letter surfaces inside. A monastery near Regensburg, written in ciphered Latin and signed only with the symbol of the Orbis, a serpent devouring its own tail. It reads, "The bloodline has fractured. The vessel must be restored through silence and oath. The monks who find it are found dead within days, their throats slit, their tongues removed. No coin, no motive, no suspects, just silence. But the local bishop dares whisper a name not found in any official scrolls, a name banned by both the papacy and empire: Orbis Aurea, the Golden Circle." To understand this, we must go back to Otto I, the first Holy Roman Emperor in 962. He knelt before the Pope and accepted the crown. But what no one tells you is this: before that coronation, Otto disappeared for 12 days. No records, no letters, only a vague mention in a Saxon diary that says he walked among the cloaked and returned with iron eyes. What happened in those 12 days would define the next 300 years of European power, because, according to an intercepted Venetian merchant's diary in 964, Codo had taken part in a ritual, not Christian, not Roman, something older, something rooted in ancient Babylonian rites of divine kingship, a ritual conducted by the Orbis Aurea. But what is Orbis Aurea? That's the forbidden question, whispered only by those who vanished soon after. It was not a religious sect, nor a royal family. It was a network of scholars, monks, spies, and assassins scattered across Europe, sworn not to any flag, but to an ancient prophecy hidden in a relic known only as the Vox Prima, the first voice believed to contain the original covenant made between man and God before organized religion. It dictated that no man should rule unless ordained through the fire of knowledge and bound by silence. The Orbis enforced this covenant by placing and removing emperors like chess pieces, their emblem found carved beneath cathedral crypts and encoded in stained glass, unnoticed by millions for centuries. So when Otto I was crowned, he had already submitted not to the Pope, but to the circle, and every emperor after him was made to do the same. But here's where it gets chilling. Not all of them agreed. Henry IV resisted and was excommunicated twice, not just by the church, but by the circle itself. A secret tribunal, known as Cana Pana, the Quiet Council, was said to pass judgment from deep within the Alps. And when they did, their executions were silent, clean, and complete. Henry's allies began dying from strange illnesses. His letters never reached their destinations, and even his own wife mysteriously fled in the night, leaving behind a note with a single line: "They are in the walls." If this stunned you, hit that like now. Let's dive deeper. In 1273, Rudolf of Habsburg is elected emperor, a humble count. Suddenly vaulted into supreme power. The church calls it divine favor, but in reality, weeks before his election, he visited the monastery of Milk, where, beneath the scriptorium, lies a hidden vault, sealed by 7 rings. Rudolf descended alone, accompanied only by a blind monk who spoke in riddles. Upon his return, Rudolf burned all letters from Rome and began a purge of his own court. Historians call it a political cleanup, but an intercepted letter discovered in the archives of Lucerne reads, "He heard the voice, and now he obeys." What is the voice? It returns us to the Vox Prima, the first voice, a manuscript supposedly written not in ink, but in the blood of a pre-Christian prophet whose name has been erased from all records. The Orbis Aurea believed that the true ruler of men must read the voice to gain the sight, to see the rise and fall of nations, and to choose what must be hidden or revealed. It Not just metaphorical, several emperors reported dreams of burning trees, of whispering stone walls, of faceless men watching from the rafters. These visions coincided with decisions they made, wars waged, alliances broken, even wives poisoned. There is a chilling consistency. Every emperor who resisted the circle's guidance either died young, lost their heirs, or mysteriously abdicated, but those who followed saw their reigns stabilize, their legacies preserved, almost as if the Orbis Aurea were not just guarding history, but writing it like authors with a quill made of flesh and kingdoms as ink. But here, as where the betrayal begins, during the reign of Charles IV, the circle begins to splinter. A faction calling themselves Oris Nigrum, the black ear forms within it, believing that the Vox Prima must be destroyed, not preserved, they claim. The voice corrupts, and that knowledge, once touched by man, must fade. This schism triggers a shadow war never documented in official history. Coded letters disappear, entire monasteries burn under mysterious lightning strikes, and the crypt beneath the Vatican is sealed permanently. The black ear wants freedom, the golden circle wants obedience. The emperors are caught in between. And just when you think this conspiracy couldn't get deeper, we find a document buried in the Vatican. Secret archives, stamped ex silentio 1380, with 3 names listed: Charles IV, Gregory XI, and an unnamed entity signed with a black serpent. The Vatican has never commented on its contents, but one defrocked Jesuit who saw it claimed it contained instructions on how to erase memory from an entire generation. So ask yourself, if you were emperor, would you obey or resist? Let us know in the comments. The year is 1410. Sigismund of Luxembourg becomes emperor, but the coronation is delayed for 7 months. No explanation, no decree, only rumors of a silent negotiation with those who watch the watchers. Sigismund, his closest advisor, a man named Hartlieb, disappears before the ceremony, only to be found buried beneath Cod Castle, his skin tattooed in arcane symbols, and his eyes replaced with stones etched in Greek letters spelling M Laladu, not speak, we va, uncovered correspondence from a Bohemian monk to a Burgundian abbot describing a council of the Veil. Convened in Vienna during this time, a gathering of Orbis members, Auris defectors, and even 2 Templar exiles. The topic, the fate of the Holy Roman Throne. A vote was held, but no minutes recorded, only a single surviving line from the monk's journal: the knife has turned inward and now bleeds the hand. This was not a coup, it was a quiet war. No swords, only secrets. But here, as the twist in 1431, the Council of Basel is called, supposedly, for church reform, but it becomes a smokescreen for deeper negotiations. The papacy wants to end the circle's influence. Sigismund is caught in the crossfire. His health rapidly declines. In days before his death, he orders all mirrors in his chamber shattered, a final act of madness, or a symbolic gesture to the entity he once served. Enter Frederick III, the last true emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. By the time of his rule, the circle has gone underground, but whispers persist. The Orbis now operates through guilds, banker families, secret alliances with cathedrals and their relics. He is said to have worn a ring engraved not with a crest, but with a serpent and star. The last time this ring was seen was at his funeral, then it vanished. At this point, few will start wondering, could this still be happening? Could any modern power still serve this secret order? Ask yourself this: if you were handed a prophecy that could guarantee peace, but cost your soul, would you read it? What would you choose? In 1806, the Holy Roman Empire is dissolved. Napoleon crushes what's left, and Europe moves on, or so we retold. But buried in the personal writings of Napoleon's brother, Joseph, lies an entry: the voice has gone quiet, the circle sleeps, but it is not dead. What does this mean? Could the Orbis Aurea have survived? Did they orchestrate the fall of the empire to preserve the prophecy itself, hidden in plain sight in 1943? Allied forces uncover a hidden chamber beneath a bombed German cathedral in Cologne. Inside, they find a sealed vault containing medieval scrolls, wax seals marked with Orbis rings, and a manuscript titled simply De Silentio, Lux, from silence. Like the document vanishes from military logs 3 days later, eyewitnesses claim it contained instructions to rebuild Europe through selective amnesia. Could this explain post-war geopolitics, the sudden rise of unseen banking powers, secret meetings like the Bilderberg Group, or even the Vatican's diplomatic silence on missing World War II archives? To this day, no one knows who or what controls the legacy of the Orbis Aurea. But one thing is certain, the emperors were never the rulers, okay? They were vessels for something older and far more dangerous, something that still whispers in the walls of cathedrals and the back rooms of parliaments. If this story shook you, hit that like. If you did keep the secret, would you tell anyone or let the silence reign? Let us know in the comments. And if you crave stories like this ones that expose the hidden gears of history, subscribe, because truth, no matter how buried, always finds its voice. And remember, the next time you hear the word emperor, ask yourself, who crowned him and who watched from the shadows?